Untap, upkeep, and welcome back to the channel if you've been here before, and if you haven't, then please sit back, relax, and enjoy our show for you today. Stay tuned, by the way, for the end of this video for a nice surprise that we have a new addition for the channel, and I'm only going to tell you about it at the end of the video, so stay tuned, watch the video. So, getting into the deck tech for the day, we are going to look at a Naya Goad deck. That's going to be about $100 budget. It's like $99. And we're looking at a commander that it doesn't see as much love as it should be, but I thought it'd be perfect to do some weird, wacky little goad thing. So that's kind of exactly what I did. And we're going to look at Gahiji, Honored One. Pretty cheap commander money-wise. There's really nothing too fancy-pantsy about it. It says whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents or a planeswalker an opponent controls, that creature gets a +2/+0 until end of turn. So you can see how the goad mechanic can work really well with this. We're gonna make everybody just sit here and smash and crash and smash each other, and we have a couple of ways to protect ourselves so that when it gets down to the 1v1 match, Goad doesn't work, but when it gets down to that, hopefully we have everything set up just enough that we don't care. We're either going to bounce, kill, or prevent damage enough that we can live. We're running a pretty decent creature base at 21, and we'll just kind of go through them and see what all we've got going on here. So first up, there's Agitator Ant, beginning of our end step. Each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature they control and goad everything that had a 1/1 counter put on it this way. So this is kind of handy, maybe somebody has a Birds of Paradise that they're trying to swing through for the last point of damage or something on one of our other opponents. And that plus Gahiji could be enough to kill somebody. Or, maybe they're trying to call somebody's bluff and hopefully get a creature blocked that they otherwise can't deal with. So it has a little bit of versatility. We're able to buff up our team because it says each player, not just each opponent. So we don't really mind it. Yeah, they might have to attack, but hey, our stuff's getting big. Moving forward, we have the typical mana dorks, I guess you would see, with Arbor Elf, Finehorn Elf, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elf. Just typical little dorkies, I guess you could say. This is surprisingly in my little budget wheelhouse, just a little bit out of it by 7 cents. But this is Aurelia Law Above. And I really think she's a huge engine in this. She's 5 mana, so 3 in a Boros, or a 4/4 Angel with Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. With the following abilities. So whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you get to draw a card. You notice that it doesn't say us, it says a player. So that token guy sitting over there with all his squirrel tokens is attacking the goblin guy with all his goblin tokens. We're going to draw a card. Yes. And then it gets even dumber from there. So whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia Law Above will deal 3 damage to each of our opponents, and we get to gain 3 life. Well, I saw this as like an absolute slam dunk because we're trying to goad everything. Everything's going to get big. We're trying to give everything just bonkers, and we're just sending everything at everybody. Not even really us. We're making everybody attack, and then we're just going to benefit off it. We're like some kind of, warmonger, warlord, whatever you would like to picture yourself, because we're just sitting back and watching all the action as we get rich, basically, off of card draw and damage. What's not to like? This surprised me that this is actually, $7. I didn't expect that. But this is the Bothersome Closet. 3 mana for a 3/2 demon with menace. It has goad. Creatures your opponents can't... goaded creatures your opponents control cannot block. Interesting. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, goad target creature an opponent controls. So if we Rampant Growth while this is out, we goad something. If we Lightning Bolt, goad something. If we Faithless Looting, goad something. So we're forcing people to deal damage or turn their stuff sideways and be open for attacks by crewing, piloting. We have the new station mechanic from Edge of Eternities. There's a couple of little caveats that they could do to kind of be like, what if I didn't attack and lose my stuff? That's fine, but you're still left wide open. So, smash or pass. That might be the name of this deck, actually, now that I think about it. Smash or pass. But let's move forward. We have Death's Kiss. At 6 mana, we get a 5/5 Beholder. Behold! On mechanic. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks one of your opponents, double its power until end of turn. So, not only are we forcing everybody to attack, now we're making everything bigger. And then doubling it. It has monstrosity of X, so we can pay XX and red, and it will get that many 1/1 counters on it. When it becomes monstrous, go up to X target creatures your opponents control. So it's up to, so we don't necessarily have to go up to that full number, whatever it would be. Maybe we only need 1 or 2 to smash somebody. Maybe we need a whole team. We get as many of them as we can with this bad boy. We already talked about the Elvish Mystic, Azul, the Tyrant of the Cliffs. This card was hilarious back in my early days of Magic. I know a lot of my play group absolutely hated this card. So whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, if you're the defending player, you get to make a 3/3 red ogre creature token, unless they wish to pay 3. So we have a little bit of defense with this. It's a huge 5/4 ogre warrior for 5 red, or 3 red, 5 mana total. So we have a little bit of a buffer right there. That's a big old booty. And especially early in the game, not a lot of people are going to pay that 3 mana. They're going to hold it up for like instant speed shenanigans or protection pieces. So they're probably not going to want to come our way. Goblin Spymaster, 3 mana for a 2/1. First strike, at the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player creates a 1/1 red goblin creature token with creatures you control attack each combat if able. The only reason I don't like this is because it's not really goading, but it does continue with our synergy of everything must attack. The Geode Rager is 6 mana for a 4/3 elemental with first strike. It has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, goad each creature target player controls. Love it! Anyone else? Frontier Warmonger. Whenever one or more creatures attack one of your opponents or a planeswalker they control, those creatures gain menace until end of turn. So, excuse me. We're drawing cards and gaining potential life while dealing damage. We're making everything huge. We're doubling everything's power. And now we're trying to make it really hard for everything to block. What's not to like about this? This is pure war. Frenzied Saddlebrute. Haste. All creatures can attack your opponents and planeswalkers your opponents control as though they had haste. So it gives everything pseudo haste. So it doesn't matter if Goblin guy over there just dumped out an entire army and he's like, well, I passed the turn. You can always go, no you can't, because everything has pseudo haste and your whole team is goaded, so slam it in, big boy. Or girl. Or non-binary. They, them, whatever. Doesn't matter. Goblin player. Turn sideways. By the way, it's goaded, so, you can't come my way. No. Kit Canto Mayhem Diva. So she's Naya and 1 and is a 3/3. Whenever she enters, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. But at the beginning of combat on each player's turn, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control. When we do, target creature that player control gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Goad that creature. So this could be like somebody dropped a blight steel and they're like, hey, I'll make a deal with you, let it live and I won't hit you with it. I'll tap it or something, or I'll go after this guy over here and then we'll deal with the Buddha dragon over here who's making me have to attack. Sure, sounds like a plan. Drop Kit Kanto and go, be a shame if that creature, the Blightsteel Colossus, had to attack and got a little bit bigger, forcing more to die or die himself. How sad. So, always good to have. Quetzal, I love putting this in any kind of white green X deck because it's like a poor man's Grand Abolisher or the new one from Tarkir. I'm drawing a blank, guys. Gals, help me out here. Leave me a note in the comments right here in this part of the video. What was I thinking? I cannot remember the name of the bloody card. I can see the artwork and I know what it is, but for whatever reason, I'm not able to draw it out of my head. But it makes it so your opponents can't cast spells during our turn. And whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card. Our commander makes anything attacking our opponents get a +2/+0. All we need is to connect, and we draw cards. What's not to like about this? This is another one I'm surprised is getting up there in price. My lord. This is Life of the Party. Has First Strike, Trample, Haste. And whenever Life of the Party attacks, it gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. However, it's not where it's in the deck. Because it's in the deck thanks to when it enters the battlefield, if it's not a token, each opponent creates a token copy of it, and tokens are goaded for the rest of the game. So it has Trample, it has Haste, it has First Strike. If it's big enough and there's not a big enough army to stand up to it, this could wipe out somebody. Like if the let's say like the white weenie guy just barely survived the attack from the goblin guy, I can slam this down, give everybody one of these, and go, hey, I think you should attack the goblin guy now, don't you think? It's a lot of firepower. Gotta love it. Or else we already kind of talked about. This is one that not a lot of people would remember. This is back when I was in pretty heavy in playing Magic. I loved Shards of Alara. Can't wait to go back. I hope we get to go back soon. But this is Meg Lonov. When it has Vigilance, Trample, and whenever it blocks a creature, it deals damage to that creature's controller equal to this thing's power. So this is kind of another one of those, you hit me with a big dumb idiot and I'm going to deal damage to you kind of things. So don't come near me. Just a nice little fun card. It could be swapped out for other things if you really felt like it, especially if you're trying to upgrade the budget of this deck and make a little bit more oomph to it. But and as far as like in the deck itself right now, it's a pretty nice piece, I think. This is a funny one, excuse me, that I thought was great in this deck. This is Ovia, Auto Mech Artisan. So for 4 mana, we get a 1/2 Legendary Human Artificer. Okay, and well, her ability that a lot of people use more than anything is tap a green, tap it. You may put a creature or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield, and if you put an artifact onto the battlefield this way, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. That's the ability that just about everybody uses. However, I put it in here because I read the card. In reading the card, you ask the professor, shout out to the professor, explains the card. It says each creature that's attacking one of your opponents has the trample. Y'all, we are making everybody attack. Our commander is giving everything a +2/+0. And this thing means they all have trample. Good luck with chop blocks. Have fun. But next up, we will check out Windborn Muse. If you've been playing Magic here recently and you've seen any of the precons that are out now, we have reprints of Propaganda and Ghostly Prison. This is another one of those pieces just on a body. It has flying as a 2/3, and creatures can attack you unless controlled pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. So it's another kind of, but did you pay kind of thing. Warmonger Hellkite. Of course I had to put a dragon in here, everybody. Hi, I'm the Buddha Dragon. Duh. has flying. All creatures attack each combat if able. You can even pay 1 in a red to make attacking creatures get a +1/+0 until end of turn. It does kind of bite us in the butt a little bit, but I'm sure we're going to get plenty of scenarios where we're able to sneak in and not really lose a whole lot, if any, and just like slam into somebody. Vengeful Ancestor. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, goad target creature. Whenever a goaded creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to its controller. So, again, it's another dragon, kind of. Just kind of making sure everything is not coming our way. And we're just trying to start our plan of dwindling life totals as we continue making everything attack. So that's our creature base. Let's check out what we're doing in the sorceries, shall we? We're running Austere Command, Blasphemous Act, and even a Wrath of God to just annihilate everything on the battlefield that we don't want come our way. We're running Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Farseek, and even a 3 visits to help ramp and get our game up going off the ground. 3 visits is probably a card I probably would swap out for like Kodama's Reach, I guess, just because it is $5. Why is it $5? Because it needs to see more reprints. So you could swap a few things out here and there and cut the cost down a little bit if you really needed to. We're running Harmonize, Shamanic Revelation, and Ridgecar's Expertise for some card draw. Not the best card draw because we are trying to stay on somewhat of a budget, and there's so much you could do that I wanted to leave everybody some room to grow and develop this deck should you build it, should you think it's fun. We have 2 ways to goad everything that we just don't want. First up is the classic Disrupt Decorum. Goad all creatures you don't control. So for 4 mana, slam this. Everybody with a token army gets to slam into each other, and, well, hopefully we're not the last one that gets slammed into by a token army. Same thing with Spectacular Showdown. Put a double strike counter on target creature, then goad each creature that had a double strike counter put on it this way. But, like Cyclonic Rift, for 7 mana for triple red, you may overload this, and if you do, it will say the following instead. You may cast the spell for its overload cost. If you do, change the target and its text to each. So instead of saying put a double strike counter on target creature, it says put a double strike counter on each creature, then goad each creature that had a double strike counter put on it this way. So we can give everything double strike for 7 mana and make everything have to turn sideways at everybody. This is going to be really fun if you do it on your end step. So your stuff, hopefully, if you have anything, didn't have to attack or already did attack and it's safe. And now we play this. It's over. It's going to be over. Everybody's going to have a bad day. So let's look at our instance package then. Let's see what else we're rocking here. What we got? What we got? So, of course, we have the classic Beast Within, Generous Gift, Stroke of Midnight, Path to Exile, and Swords to Plowshares to deal with problematic things that may come up on the board, as well as a Chaos Warp. We have Blessed Respite, which allows us to shuffle a person's graveyard into their deck and then prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn, so that's 1 fog effect. We have Dawn's Charm, which has a couple of different modes. Prevent all combat damage will be dealt this turn, regenerate target creature, or counter target spell that targets you. Y'all, that last ability is going to get somebody. I know it. Somebody's going to play like a Crackle of Power and just be like, Dawn's Charm. No. We also have Literal, Factual, Actual, Classic, Fog. Prevent all combat damage this turn. So we have a few ways to protect ourselves and give us a buffer. I have another card, though, that unless you have been playing Magic for a while or you've got somebody like me in your group, you probably don't know about. That is Master Warcraft. So for 2 Boros, this is an instant. Cast only before attackers are declared. You choose which creatures attack this turn and how each creature blocks this turn. Goodness, y'all. I have won many games in my past with this card. It is so sneaky to just keep 4 mana open and just smile. I can't tell you how salty my brother or my other friends have gotten when I've been like, Warcraft, you're not killing me. Instead, you're killing him. Ha ha! Oh, why is he killing you? Because I get to choose how they block, and I choose, you don't. This card is so much fun. God, is it so much fun. We're running Naya Charm because, I mean, why not? 3 damage to a target creature, return target creature from our graveyard to its hand, or if it looks like we're going to get the combat wombats on our way because it is 1v1, you can go, let me know when you go to your combat step. Combat step, cool. Let's tap all creatures target player control. Do you want to surrender now or later? And of course, lastly, according to firstly, the Boros Charm to protect our board. 4 damage to target player, or, maybe just need to give something double strike. More importantly, it's going to protect our board from a board wipe. Moving down to the artifacts, pretty standard of what you would see. We have the signets with Arcane, Boros, Silencia, Rule. We're running Mind Stone, Belwar Stone, Prismatic Lens, Commander Sphere, a Soul Ring, even a Thought Vessel. We might reach that threshold of having a max hand size. Wayfarer's Bauble, and the Swiftest of the Boots. So, what I would consider standard, what you would see in most mana rocks for most decks on this caliber. Surprise guest we're running is Assemble the Legion. We're just, as long as this stays on the battlefield, it will always get a counter, and then we make guys based on those counters. So the first turn it gets 1, we make a dude. Second time around, it gets another counter, we make 2 guys, and 3 guys, and 4 guys, and 5 guys, and 6 guys. Excuse me. So you can see how this stacks and gets horrible for people to deal with. There's the actual factual Ghostly Prison. It has seen a couple of reprints, especially if you were lucky enough to get something. I believe it's in one of the Final Fantasy decks. I could be wrong, but I know it has seen a very recent reprint. Let me actually look at that real quick. Moxfield, by the way, not a sponsor. Oh, well, yes, I am right. It was in the Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander. Doesn't look like it was in Final Fantasy, though, so I was wrong about which set, but I was right about it getting a reprint. So it should be pretty available to get to you, though. Just says creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Just a nice way to say, but what if you didn't? I thought this would be hilarious in here too. Mass Hysteria. Everything has haste. Turn all the things sideways. I want blood. I am a warmonger, a war god, and I want blood. So, I don't know. It might bite us in the booty, but I think it'll be funny. Then we have this that I thought was hilarious to add in here. Rite of the Raging Storm. Creatures named Rite of the Raging Storm can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. So none of those tokens could ever come our way. And I say tokens because of this. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player makes a 5/1 red elemental creature token named Lightning Rager. It has trample, haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this creature. So it can swing immediately. And if we're set up right, we can either A, drop a land and make them attack, or we can use hit to tap some creatures and force it to attack. We could do a couple of shenanigans to make this thing attack and start dealing damage. Moving down our list, looking at our land base, it's pretty typical. We have no shocks in here. Well, we have shocks in here, but we don't have fetches. Why do I have a shock in here? I have 2 shocks in here. 3 shocks in here. Oh, well, I guess I have them in there because they are getting cheaper thanks to the Edge of Eternities. You can get these in here. I think the other half of them are not in there, so that's why they're a little bit on the pricey side. But we're running a pretty strong mana base, I'd like to say. We have Bonner's Enclave, Canopy Vista, Cinderclave, Cliffdrop Retreat, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Path of Ancestry. 5 Mountanas. Keswick Wolf Run because, you know, we just need to give something trample and a little bit of a power boost to make sure somebody dies. We have 6 Forest, a Field of Ruin because I never go home. I never leave home without a piece of land destruction in every deck. Exotic Orchard. 5 Plains, a Reliquary Tower because we might have to have no max end size. You never know. The Rootbound Crag. Sacred Foundry, Stomping Ground, Sun Petal Grove, a Terramorphic Expanse, a Temple of Triumph, Plenty, and Abandon, and finally, a Temple Garden. That rounds out our mana base. So, the deck overall has a pretty nice mana curve, as you can see. We're not too heavy overall with the deck, and we're able to kind of get up and start doing our shenanigans. This is not going to be like, I don't expect us to be like a absolute house of a deck per se. I expect it to kind of hang and just do shenanigans. If you up the budget, you could do some really wacky and dumb things. Probably making a lot more enemies, I guess you could say, with this deck. As it sits right now on its little budget, it's not really like the most kind of the kind of deck you would see. It's probably going to be extremely annoying. I mean, even looking at our sample hand here, we're able to get our commander out pretty daggone quick. I don't know what we're going to do after that. Hey, we got some stuff. Not bad. Not bad. So, I mean, we're getting pretty decent hands. This is the only hand that I would definitely shuffle away. We have a lot of green things, but no green source. Just out of curiosity. Yeah. Yeah, I would have shipped that one. I'm not keeping a one-lander. This would be a one-lander I would consider keeping because it does have Soul Ring, and we have Generous Gift, but I think I would still mulligan that one. Yeah, I would have mulliganed that one. I couldn't take that risk. This is a hard mulligan. This one's not bad. So just drawing some sample hands, we were able to kind of get some things up and going and do some dumb things, which is all I'm really out to do out here, everybody, is build decks that do dumb things. So you never know what I've got up my sleeve. And I thought, what about a Naya Goad deck? I don't have a Goad deck personally in my collection. This might be something to experiment with and maybe make it something. I don't know. Why don't you let me know in the comments below? Is this something that kind of piques your interest? Like, would this be something that your playgroup would go, oh my god, why did you build this? And then you could just laugh like a cackling hyena like I do and go, he didn't build it, I did. Point them to the channel. I'd love to hear it. Give me more deck ideas and suggestions if there's something wacky or difficult to piece together that you can't quite do. Let me know. Let's see if we can't work it out. Oh, and I almost forgot. As always, the link for this will be in the description below. But I have started up a Discord. For right now, there's no charge to join it. There might be some charge for it later down the road. I'm just getting things up off the ground. It probably would only be like $1 anyway. But yeah, there's a Discord, and I'll post the link for it if there's interest in joining the Discord. If there's not, then, well, you don't have to. But I would love to see you all there. I would love to hear what you all think and chit-chat from all around the world. Whoever is actually watching and supporting me, thank you. I love you. I can't do this without you. So, come on, join the Discord. There's a few of us there. I know I have a buddy of mine that plays a lot of tournaments, so he has a lot of tournament knowledge that can help kind of guide you in the directions that you're trying to go. He plays a lot of Modern, so, you know, maybe he'll do something for the channel. Never know. But I've been the Buddha Dragon. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and hey, jump on that Discord. Let's talk. Don't forget, rub that belly for mana, and may all your games be filled with magic. Until the next time, peace out.